If you're getting my voice, please reply. Please, I request you all, please reply if you're getting my voice. Please reply if you're getting my voice. Please reply if you're getting a voice. Okay, so let us start the what we call very new topic. Yesterday only we have discussed about the business environment, and today we starting the environmental scanning we have, and what is the impact of the globalization and what is the all about the globalization. So whenever you will feel some certain problems, you may ask. Okay, so yeah, we have completed till types of business environment. Now we are moving towards environmental scanning. So after this lecture you will be able to understand what is all about the environmental scanning, what is the process of environmental scanning, what is the globalization we have, and what is the impact of the globalization. Getting a point? Okay, so the word scanning means to look carefully into the examine. The term environmental scanning in a business means to carefully analyze the various factors influencing the businesses. Means in an environmental scanning, what actually we have to do, we have to be examine those factors which is directly or indirectly impacting on the businesses. Getting a point? And in other words, what we can say, environmental scanning is a continuous process. It's a continuous process. It's actually dynamic process. It is a process by which the organization monitor the relevant environment to identify opportunities and threats affecting their businesses. Okay, so what actually environmental scanning do in a environmental scanning? We continuously monitoring the opportunities and threats for businesses. Got it? So according to the B.W. Denning, what he has said, the advocate of the systematic corporate planning base their case on the views that the determination of the future can be improved by a systematic analytical approach which reviews the business as a whole in relation to the environment. So if we talk about the what is the environmental scanning is all about to monitoring the certain factors which is directly or indirectly impacting the businesses. And apart from this, while doing some certain environmental scanning, we have to be analyze what are the opportunities you have, what are the threats you have. Next, what is the need of the environmental scanning? Why we have to do the environmental scanning? What is the purpose to do certain environmental scanning? First, effective utilization of resources. Okay, so effective utilization of resources means the key to business success is the most effective utilization of resources. Companies which fails to do are doomed to be failure. It's very common sense, it's a very common phenomena. So whatever the resources we have to be used in a very effective manner, or we have to be used in a very optimum level of utilization. Because if whatever the resources we have, if we are not able to use those resources in a very perfect manner, then what will happen? We have to be face the market failures in a long run. Okay? Other, it helps in converting threats in the opportunities. If suppose that you have already scanned the environment, whatever the environmental factors we have, firstly we have to be analyze those factors, we have to be scan those factors then what we can do, we can convert the threats into the opportunities. Okay, because yesterday I already told you that business environment or environmental scanning plays a very key role in effective decision making. So that is the only reasons environmental scanning allows to the strategies to anticipate the opportunities and plan alternative response to these opportunities. Environmental scanning helps in preventing the threats or develop the strategies that can turn threat to the opportunities for the benefit of organization. If all the companies were able to do that, then every company would have earned good profit, growth, and reputation. Means whatever the threats you are going to face in the long run, if those threats you are able to convert in opportunities, that might lead some certain competitive advantages for your businesses. That is the thing, environmental scanning plays a very key role to convert the threat into the opportunities. Then useful for the managers, yes, the business manager should be able to analyze the environmental to grasp the certain things. Next is environmental scanning. Is a strategic management always start with the environmental scanning. Means whenever we are looking for certain strategic management for your organization, you are looking for us to create certain long-term plan, short-term plan, corporate plan, operational plan we have. So what we have to do, firstly, we have to go for the environmental scanning. Okay, so whenever we are planning for the environmental scanning for your organization, we have to make sure about the factor which is directly or indirectly impacting on your businesses. So constant monitoring of the environment, yes. Environmental scanning provides a clear idea about the existing environment. So whatever the existing environment you have, so environmental scanning provides you very clear and very crystal clear idea about the opportunities and threat. And as we know, without environmental scanning, without analyzing the environmental scanning factors, it would not be possible to know the changes in a customer taste, preferences, competitor analysis, competitor movement, latest policy of the government. So that is the thing we have to be make sure about the environmental scanning process. And because without recognizing the customer taste, without recognizing the customer preferences, we have to be face the market failure situations in a long run. Next हो गया narrowing down the opportunities, yes, and in a depth and meaningful environmental scanning assists the strategies to reduce the range of available alternatives and eliminate options that are totally inconsistent with the forecasting opportunities or threats. Means environmental scanning very play key roles. Suppose that you have some certain different alternatives are available in the market. So what are the alternative which is best suited for your organizations? We can choose, we can narrowing down the opportunities through the environmental scanning. So this is the totally theoretical part. UGC never asks the questions from the environmental scanning. What UGC asks, which I am just telling you. There are since last 10-15 years have seen the question papers of last 10-15 years. Every time at least one questions from the environmental scanning. So they always ask to make the sequence of the process. What is the process of environmental scanning? Sometimes what they can do, they rearrange, and so that is the thing they might to put it down in a certain system. So process of environmental scanning is a very important, it's the most important topic. Okay. So what is the process of environmental scanning? How actually we do the environmental scanning? Identify the environmental factors. Firstly, being in a marketers, being in a corporates, being in a organization, we have to be identify the environmental factors. Second, scanning and selecting the relevant and key factors. Scanning and selecting the relevant and key factors. So whatever the after the identifying the factors, we should have the basic idea about what are the relevant key factors for your organization. Okay. Next, to define the variables for analysis. After that, we have to be define certain variables for analysis. Fourth step is using the different methods, techniques, and tools. Means whatever the variables we have defined, we have to be use certain tools and techniques, certain methods, certain techniques to analyze those variables. Got it? Next, forecasting the environmental factors designing. Next, profile we have to be checked. Last, strategic position and report writing. So there are 7 steps comes under the process of environmental strategy. We have starting from identifying the environmental factors to last strategic position and report writing. So this is the theoretical part. Whatever the environmental scanning process I am just showing on this particular PPT in a particular slide. So this is a totally descriptive part of the particular process. Starting with the identifying the environmental factors we have. So what we do in identifying the environmental factors, all strategies should identify all the relevant factors that might affect their businesses. In this process, one should first know what are the internal areas and what is the external areas. Okay, so firstly we have to be identifying the environmental factor, then scanning and selecting the relevant key factors, then defining the variables for analysis. Means we have to be select certain environmental factors or to be further specified into the variables. For example, a political situation can be measured using the few variables such as instability, reliability, long-term impact. Yesterday only we have discussed regarding when I was teaching the macro factors of business environment, so we have told you regarding the political factors. So third step of environmental scanning is defining the variables for analysis. Fourth, using the different methods, technique and tools. Next, forecasting the environmental factors. After collecting the relevant information, we have to be identify the variables or basics of the analysis, and what we have to do after analyzing the past information, we can predict about the future. Okay, so whatever the future planning you're just looking for, firstly we have to be analyze the past information, past data which is already available in the market. Accordingly, we can make certain future planning for your business enterprises. Okay, next, designing profile. After analyzing the environmental factor, they are recorded into the profiles. Such profile record each components or variable into left side and their positive, negative or neutral indicators. Now after that we can do some strategic advantage profile, SAM analysis we can do the environmental threat and opportunity profile, that is called ETOP profile, and we can go for the SWOT analysis. So we have to be go for the certain analysis tool that is called SAP, strategic advantage profile. We can go with the environmental threat and the opportunity profile we have. Then next, strength, weakness, opportunity and threats profile we can do. Next, strategic position in the report writing. This is the last step of environmental scanning. After preparing the profiles, strategies, prepare the formal report that describe the business environment, and this report might present issues and strength of the business environment. Based on this report, future strategies can be made effectively. Means in the last step of environmental scanning, what actually we do, we try to find out what is the strength of the organization, what is the weakness of the organization. After that, we have to be write the certain reports. Accordingly, we are planning for future strategies for your organization. Okay, so this is all about the environmental scanning we had. Now we are moving towards the strategic position and report writing. Okay, completed. Next topic is globalization. This is the topic, impact of globalization. We will discuss what is the globalization. So firstly, there was a certain, before starting with the globalization, I'll try to explain certain history behind the globalization in India. Getting a point? So what actually happened in 1991, everybody knows. During the 1991, India was facing certain Great Depression situation in the economies. We had to face some certain great recession in the economy. So during that time, we had required some certain economic reform. We had required some certain policies who could manage the entire Indian economy. You must have an idea about what actually happened during the 1991, because India was, the inflation was around 25%, unemployment rate was around 60%, there was very low demand in the market. So during that time, Narasimha Rao used to be the Prime Minister and Dr. Manmohan Singh was a Finance Minister of India. What they have done, they have made some certain economic reform, they have made some certain policies. What were the policies? LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. Okay. So liberalization, privatization, I'll tell you in some other lecture because that is not part of the today's syllabus, today's slides. So in a globalization, in a today's lecture, we are more concerned about what is the globalization, what is the impact of the globalization, what is the meaning of the globalization. So globalization is integration of the economy, means whole world will come under the single umbrella. Getting a point? Means if suppose that you belongs to the developed countries or developing countries or underdeveloped countries or LDCs, least developed countries, it will not matter. But after the existence of the globalization across the globe, what actually international trade are doing, any country can do trade with anyone. So what is the globalization? In a simple word, if somebody will ask, describe the globalization in 2 words, that is called integration of the economy. Means there is a mutual cooperation, among all the economies. Okay, so in a further we are moving towards the integration of the economies, the increasing reliance of economies on each other. Means one country will rely on the other country. Next, the opportunities to be able to buy and sell in any country in the world. Same thing I've already told. Suppose that you belongs to Kenya and Kenya manufacturer, a Kenya marketer, he or she want to be do trade with the US on some developed countries in Europe, they can buy and sell any product. Okay. So opportunities for labor and capital to locate anywhere in the world. Yes. That is called what we call, there is a free movement of labor and capital just because of what we call, just because of the globalization, it has been possible. Okay, got it? So in a present scenario, we can easily see the example of movement of labor and capital from one country to the other countries. Like if we can take the example of the Indians skill-based labors are not even the skill-based, even unskill-based labor also. Skill-based and unskill-based labors are migrating from India to South Africa, India to US, India to Middle East, Dubai. There are 2-3 students who have joined from the Dubai. Because they belongs to India, they want to become in an Indian market. They want to be join that some certain academics in India. So that is the thing ki people's labor are, there is a movement of labor and capital. There are many multinational corporations which belongs to India. They've started their manufacturing plant in Dubai, in the US, in Japan, in China, in Israel. In the same manner, most of the multinational corporations from across the globe, they've started their manufacturing in India. Got it? So there is a huge movement of labor and capital from one country to the other country, and it has been possible just because of globalization. Next, the growth of the global market in finance. Yes, global market has been increased and global market are increasing day by day in a very rapid manner. So this is all about the globalization. Now we are moving towards what is the impact of the globalization we have. How the globalization is impacting on the certain factors. So we have put it down certain factors where the globalization is directly or indirectly impacting. Okay. Now I'm just trying to explain one by one because we have more than the 20 factors. Okay. So firstly, we'll start with you are able to see. Which increase the quality of the video, then you will be able to see the what are the factors I'm just concerned about. Okay. So there are many factors we have. So we are starting with the what we call integration of the economy. I have already told you, just because of the globalization, there is a certain integration of the economy. Reliance of one country has been increased drastically on other countries. If we will talk about in the present time, without the involvement of the foreign trade, you cannot grow, you cannot increase your capital, you cannot increase some certain foreign reserve. So that is the only thing, that is the only reasons what we have, that is the only reasons we have to be more interdependency on the other country. That is the one impact of globalization. other equalities and inequalities. Yes, equalities has been increased. If suppose that today if we are sitting at a Lucknow, we are sitting at a Lucknow, and not even the Lucknow, in some rural areas they are also using certain branded clothes. Okay, they are using some branded products. So just because of the intervention of the multinational corporation, equality has been increased. What was actually happening? What was actually happening before the globalization era? There was some certain developed country. They were able to. They were actually using some certain quality product. Despite of having the high income group, we were not able to use those quality product and services. So just because of the globalization, equality has been increased. Communication, yes, we can see the example of the communication. What actually we are doing? There are one you are sitting. There one student is sitting at the Hyderabad, other student are sitting at Dubai, other student sitting at the Kashmir. Still, I'm just able to teach it. Okay, so communication has been shrink. So and communication has become very quite easy just because of the globalization. You are sitting at a Lucknow in a one phone call. You can talk with the person who is sitting at the last corner of the world. Okay, so since the emergence of globalization, since the existence of the globalization, communication has been increased drastically, and mode of the communication has been, because due to the communication, now we are able to do trade with the across the globe. Okay, next, recognition we have. What is all about the recognitions? Yes, your branding will be increased. Suppose that you are sitting at India and you are using the McDonald's. We are consuming McDonald's burger, we are consuming Domino's, we are consuming Pizza Hut. So just because of the globalization, just because of the multinational corporations, recognitions of brand has been increased. Indian manufacturing product are selling at different countries. So that is the only reasons. Just because of the globalization, just because of the existence of one brand in another country, recognitions have been increased drastically. Companies have they become the global. They become the global just because of the globalization. Next, trade versus ad. Yes, not even the trade. There is some certain government ad. There is some certain government donations also we are getting just because of globalization. Next, outsourcing. Yes, one of the major sources and major reason of globalization. Outsourcing industry has been drastically increased. In a present era, we'll talk about most of the IT firms, they are working on the outsourcing industries. So just because of the globalization, the outsourcing industries became the very big industry actually. Most of the multinational corporation, they have started their outsourcing businesses in India just because of to acquire the cheap labor. Got it? So outsourcing industry plays a very key roles in terms of the multinational corporations, and outsourcing industries has been popular just because of the globalization. If we are talking about the outsourcing industries, outsourcing is all about what actually we do. Recognitions, recognitions, trade versus ad, and outsourcing in what actually we do in outsourcing: BPO, business process outsourcing; KPO, knowledge process outsourcing. So most of the multinational corporations of across the globe, they have started their plant in India because Indians in India, skilled labor are very cheap. Bank of America, that doesn't deal with the banking in India, but they have outsourcing plant in India. Royal Bank of Scotland, Barclays Bank. So there are, we can see the n number of the multinational corporations, banking industries, telecommunication industries. They have set up their plant, they have set up their outsourcing plant in India. So outsourcing plays a very key role in the development of the economies, and outsourcing industry also plays a very key role to generate the employment. Okay, next, brand. Yes, recognition and brand, most of the both are the same thing. Next, exploitation. Yes, just because of the globalization, there is the exploitation of domestic resources, exploitation of the small player, and the exploitation of the unorganized market. We have seen in the last decade Just because of the multinational corporation, just because of the Walmart, just because of the Spencer, just because of the few different other multinational corporations, unorganized market has been suffered. We have seen so many examples just because of existence of Amazon or Flipkart, some other e-commerce industries, small scale industries has been impacted in a very bad manner. And apart from the small scale industries, natural resources also exploiting by the multinational corporation. Next, growth, yes, automatically there will be a growth. If you are starting, if you belongs to India and starting your plant in some other country, so automatically there will be certain growth. Other is a poverty, yes, poverty elevation. Poverty elevation, just because of the globalization there is a certain reduction in the poverty rate and poverty graph. Next, environment, yes, environment affected. Yes, we have seen climate has been changed, net air pollution we have seen so far, and the water pollution we have seen. So environmental is directly impacting, directly affecting, just because of this can be say disadvantage of globalization. Monopoly power, yes, monopoly power has been abolished because emergent of globalization, existence of the multinational corporations, monopoly has been abolished, monopoly has been ended. Because if we are going to the market, we have some certain competitors, certain alternatives available in the market in every products. You're talking about the aeroplane, talking about the aircraft, talking about the medicine, talking about the apparel industry. We have very few industries across the globe where we can say that is a niche market. Otherwise, monopoly has been abolished in a very 99.9% monopoly abolished just because of the existence of the MNCs. Next, capitalism. Yes, economies are shifting from socialism economies to the capitalism economies. Culture. There is some certain growth in a culture, and there is some certain exploitation in a culture. Cultural factors plays a very key roles. Sometimes we have seen in many countries culture has been exploited, culture has been ended just because of the MNCs. Because I mean multinational corporations, they always try to force their culture. So culture can be advantage, culture can be disadvantage. While talking about the advantage, we are learning the new culture, we are growing, we are working with the new culture. And while talking about the disadvantage, cultural factors and culture has been collapsed in a different, not in a different, in many countries. Free trade, yes, we have already told you there is a free movement of labor and capital just because of globalization. Technology, the internet, yes, what actually we are doing and right now, that have been possible just because of globalization. Shrinking the world, whole world came under the single umbrella. Sitting at India, you can coordinate with a person who is sitting at South Africa, sitting at Japan, sitting at China, sitting at US, sitting at Europe. So whole world has been shrinked. Terrorism, yes, terrorism has been increased. And next, accountabilities, yes, there is some certain accountabilities we have seen so far just because of the globalization. Right now, if we just being a marketer, we just want to be surviving the market for the long run, what actually we have to do, we have to be accountable of all the things. Accountability of customer, accountability of brand image, accountability of pricing, accountability of qualities, accountability of government's factors. So just because of the globalization, we have seen certain accountabilities in a different manners for an organization. So this is all about the impact of globalization. Next, what are the drivers of globalization? Please you reply all the people. If anybody is having the doubt, please reply. Because continuously I am just speaking, you are not responding anyway. So I'll suggest you and I'll request you, if you have any problems, so please reply. Anyone is having any doubt, please reply, so we can proceed further. If you don't have any doubt, even though you should have reply. Please reply. Again, I am just requesting to you, otherwise shall we proceed further? Yes, yes, yes. Can you please brief about steps in environmental scanning? Yes. These are the steps in environmental scanning, and identify the environmental factors, scanning and selecting the relevant key factors, defining the variables for analysis, using the different methods, techniques and tools, forecasting the environmental factors, designing profiles, and last, strategic position and report writing we have. So firstly, we are starting with the environmental, identify the environmental factors. So what actually we do in identifying the environmental factors? All strategies should identify all the relevant factors that might affect their businesses. So this is our very first step of the environmental scanning. We have to identify those factors which is directly which might affect your businesses. Second is scanning and selecting the relevant key factors. Out of all the business environment factor, strategies should focus on the relevant factor for analysis. Means after analyzing all the factors, we have to go for certain very selected and relevant key factor which is required for your organization. Next, defining the variables for analysis. After that, we have to go for the selected environmental factors are to be further specified into the variables. For examples, political situations can be measured using the few variables such as instabilities. Means whatever the factors we have, whatever the factors we have, what we have to do, we have to analyze those factors. Whether it's the political factors or economical factor or social factor or legal factors. After that, whatever the factors we have selected, we have to use the different methods, different techniques and tools. Next, forecasting the environmental factors, to collecting the relevant information and to identify the variables for basis for analysis. After this, after collecting the relevant informations, what we do, we have to analyze the past information and accordingly we will make it out certain plan for the future. Then last, designing profile. In the designing profile, there are certain internal factors, there are certain external factors. We have to do certain strategic advantage profile, ETOP, ETOP, environmental threat and opportunity profile. I'll tell you in a different topic. And strength SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. Profile can be designed combining both of these two profiles into one. Then last is, after analyzing all the factors, we have to go for the strategic positions. We have to make certain final report. Accordingly, we will make the plan for the future strategies. Now we are moving towards the drivers of globalization. So we have some certain drivers, market drivers we have the cost drivers, we have government drivers, we have competitive drivers. Okay, so we'll try to complete these many drivers. Firstly, we are starting with how the market drivers are impacting on the globalization. So, what is the market drivers? What market drivers is all about, which is directly impacting on the globalization and which is actually accelerating the pace of the globalization. Okay. So in a market drivers, we have to be more concerned about the per capita income converging among industrialized nations. We have to see the per capita income of the country, convergence of the lifestyle and taste. We have to see what is the lifestyle of the country, what is the taste and preferences of the countries. In organization beginning to behave with the global customers, means all those multinational corporations, they are planning to relocate their plant in the global market. They have to behave as a global, and they have to be customize the product for the global customers. Next, increasing the treble, creating the global consumers. We have to be being marketers of multinational corporations. We have to increase the treble, so we can generate more global consumers. Growth of the global and regional channels. Yes, in the channels we are talking about the marketing intermediaries strategy only we have discussed. So this is again one of the important topic and one of the different topic, that is all about the distribution channel. So in a different country, we have to go for the different distribution channel. That is all about the supply chain management we are talking about. So what actually we have to do? We have to plan the certain different global and regional channels. Okay, getting my point? So in a different countries, we have to be go for a different supply chain management, and we have to be collaborate with a certain regional channels also to smooth operation of supply chain management. Next, okay, establishment of the world brand. Yes, then after that we have to be more concerned about the brand recognitions. We have to be create the brand awareness in the market while doing certain advertisements. Last, push to develop the global advertising. And as we know, without advertising we will not be get certain success in the market. Then we have to be go for the, we have to push our product to develop the global advertising. Okay, this is all about the market drivers we have. Next, cost drivers. Cost drivers is all about to cost cutting, to push it down certain cost factors. Continue push for the economy of scale. Please note down what is economy of scale. Economy of scale is all about mass production. As we know, if suppose that we are producing the product at a very large, so always there will be a certain low cost product. So that is the only reason, that is the only reasons we have to be focused in a such a manner so we can achieve the economy of scale. As we know, whenever we are approaching the market, if suppose that you are buying the one product, the cost might 10 rupees. If you are buying the 100 product, the cost might 9 rupees. If you are buying the 1000 product, the cost might go down up to the 830 or 8 rupees. So that is the thing. We have to be continuous push our production facility in such a manner so we may achieve the economy of scale. Accelerating the technological innovations. We have to be accelerate the technological innovations. Okay, and continuously we have to be work with the advancement of technology. Next, advances in a transportation. We have to provide very good facilities of the transportation. Whatever transportation mode you are using, it's whether it's a air mode or ship mode or the inland container depot, road mode. So whatever the transportation mode you are using, but we should have certain advancement. We should have some certain advanced technology we should have used while transporting the goods from one place to the other place. Next, emergence of newly industrialized countries with the productive capabilities and low labor cost. We should have targeted those countries which is actually newly industrialized countries, because where the cost of capital is very low, we can easily get it certain low labor cost. Overall cost of production will be very low. Next, increasing the cost of product development, related to the market life. Okay? Increasing the cost of product development related to the market life. We have to be increase the product development. We have to be put it down more focus on the product development. We have to be add on certain very unique, very USP, what we call unique selling point. We have to be differentiate our product from the competitors. Okay, this is all about the cost drivers. Next, government drivers we have and competitive drivers we have. So in a government drivers we have reduction in the tariff barriers. Tariff barrier is all about the taxes. We have to reduce the tariff barrier. We have to reduce the non-tariff barrier. Creation of the blocks. Creation of regional economic integration. I'll tell you in a very new lecture, because REI itself there is a very big topic. So sometimes we have to create certain blocks just because of free trade, declining the role of government as a producers and customers. Yes. Yesterday only we have told you there should be some certain liberal policies to promote the trade. Next, privatization. In previously state dominated economy, we have to go for the privatizations. Shift to the open market economies from the closed communist. Yes, what actually we have done in 1991, we have shifted from closed economy to the open economies. So what actually we have to do, we should have targeted those countries which is actually closed economies. We have to provide some certain opportunities for those countries. They have to be open their economy. There should be some certain movement of multinational corporations from open market economies to the closed economies, so closed economy can also participate in an international trade. Last, increasing the participation of China and India in the global economy. As we know, since last 10 years and 15 years, India and China is one of the growing economy in the world. Fourth is the competitive drivers we have. The competitive drivers we have continuously increasing the level of world trade. Yes, continuously we have to be more focused so we can increase the level of world trade. Increase the ownership of the corporations by the foreign acquirers. Yes. Rise of the new competitors intent upon the becoming the global competitors. Suppose that if you are rising certain as a new competitors, what we have to do? We have to be work in a such a manner so we can become the global competitors. Next, growth of global network making countries interdependent in a particular industries. I've already put it down very small point so you can easily understand. And the more companies becoming the globally centered rather than the nationally centered. Yes, in a present scenario, most of the companies they are looking for the investment in a multinational corporations, in looking for investment in a different countries so they can become the MNCs. So right now, most very new startup they are expanding their businesses across the globe. They are more concerned about a global centered business rather than the national centered business. Next, increase the formation of global strategic alliances. Yes, global strategic alliances. Sometimes making certain strategic alliance, it can be give some certain competitive advantage. Suppose that you just want to be entered in a US market, you have some certain investment, you have some certain idea, but you are not aware about the local market of the US. Then what we can do certain strategic alliances of some certain local companies. So this is all about the drivers of globalization. So if anybody is having a doubt, so please you can ask. So from the tomorrow, not the tomorrow, from the Monday onwards, classes will be regular at probably by the 11 or 11:30 or 12. I'll tell you the timing because due to the certain arrangement, due to a certain prior arrangement, I'm not able to give you the full 60 minutes. Already 45 minutes have been passed, more than the 45 minutes, not it's became the 50 minutes. So from the Monday onward, there will be a regular classes. I'll provide you all the notes, I'll provide you all the content, and I'll provide all the mock test. So please be joined, and all those students who have already made the payment, they are the most welcome. They can become the regular students. And I'll request you all the students who haven't paid still now, because from the Monday onward there will be a time, there will be a classes as unlisted. Only those students will be able to see the video. Only those students will be able to see the video who have paid the fees. So once again, thank you so much for joining. We will meet with probably by today or tomorrow also, and but from the Monday onward there will be a regular class. Once again, thank you so much.